Hey Peaches, I'm Eleanor and welcome to Peaches by Starlight Tarot. This is your weekly pick a card reading as it pertains to work and career, job life, and all that kind of good stuff. I am using the Fountain Tarot and Mirror cards, and then at the end of each one I'll be doing a pick a card with C Melodies. And so I have stack 1 is the Badger, stack 2 is the Fish, stack 3 is the Fox, and they're timestamped below so you can skip right to your reading if you want to. If you like a reading all to yourself, I offer those in an email format. You can find those in my Etsy page link below. If you hear something that helps you out or gives you a new insight into something, let me know by hitting that like button. And if you want to keep up with me every Saturday, go ahead and subscribe. Let's get started. Okay, if you chose stack 1 or chose the Badger, your mirror card this week is Honesty. You have the 7 of Coins, the 2 of Swords in reverse, and the Emperor. All right, let's see. There is a little bit of a feeling with the reverse 2 of Swords here of maybe, I feel like you're wanting to hold your opinion back in order to preserve someone's feelings. For some reason, as soon as I saw this guy, I'm looking at this picture, he reminds me of Gordon Ramsay. And I feel like there's like a sense to where you don't want to come off like an asshole. You don't want to be overly mean or overly harsh. And so there's a sense to where you might not be saying something that really does need to be said. It's like, I feel like that philosophy that Mom gave us about if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, might be at play here, but I don't feel like it's not going to serve the situation, that philosophy. It's blocking some kind of necessary feedback that is required in order to move forward or to produce some kind of results with the 7 of Pentacles. With being paired with honesty like this, you're looking at consequences either way. This reverse 2 of Swords and the honesty, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're likely going to be called out, I feel like. And the 7 of Coins does talk about it can be results in the positive sense or consequences in the negative sense. And so, but when I look at this Emperor and think of how the Emperor relates to consequences, he has known success and failure, right? And his long-term success and experience-based security come from being in his integrity, learning from both the successes and the failures and taking ownership of his choices and the consequences of those choices. And so it's like, if you have to face consequences, would you rather it be for something you did with the best of intentions, in your authenticity, in your power, or because you didn't do something you were afraid to do? It's like when they say, why, you know, if you feel like you're getting called out or called to account, being held accountable for what you say or whatever choice you make the one that you would say, yes, and I would do it again. I would say it again, and I stand by it, versus, or them asking you, why didn't you say anything? And because you held, you tried to hold back. You tried to be nice. You tried not to, tried to keep someone from feeling anything negative, or I want to say, try to be responsible for someone else's feelings in a situation where you aren't responsible for someone else's feelings. There's something I posted on Facebook a few years back. I saw it in my memories, and it was like, the older I get, the fewer things people can reject me for that I am not proud of. So it's like the system works. So I want to say this is not an invitation to be nasty. There's no need to be nasty. There's no need to be overly blunt. There's no need to be a jerk. Do try to be kind, but I'm seeing very clearly that not being real has the potential to backfire. All right. Go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3. or more than one will have a message for you. And let me tune in. All right, card 1. Self-care. Drowning doesn't always require water. So what's coming off of that for me is talking about drowning in, like, choking back words that you needed to say, or drowning in, you know, feeling the heaviness of something that you haven't gotten off your chest, or something that you haven't said, or in the regret of having something suffocating you that needs to be spoken. Does that make any sense? Card 2. Change. Know when to move to a new shell, especially if yours no longer fits. So is that a situation where you might not be telling people that you need to move on from it, that you do need to leave, that it isn't working for you, and staying loyal to something more for them than for yourself? And how many lives do you have to spare for that kind of choice? Card 3, opportunity. You will prove yourself and discover if you brave the rough seas. Prove your integrity. Prove your ability to stand up and say what needs to be said at the right time. Okay, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I will talk to you next Saturday. Thank you. Okay, if you chose stack 2 or chose the fish, your mirror card this week is sadness. You have the 8 of Swords in reverse, the 8 of Cups in reverse, and the 6 of Cups. So something from your past is going to be coming up. Or something from your past could be coming back to heal your heart in some way. These 2 reversed 8s of mind and heart, emotion and intellect, I'm hearing the word acceptance. And I'm feeling important for me to clarify the difference between acceptance and resignation, to where they're encouraging you to say, yes, I see what is, accept the reality of the present moment, as in service of having an accurate place from which to launch and move forward. Having a clear picture of what it is, what you're working with, what is left, what is the reality, and in a place of not denying any of that and fully accepting what is, that empowers you and frees you to move forward and to keep, plotting your course. Resignation says, I see what is, this is the way it is, I can't change it, I can't do anything about it, I give up. I'm not even going to try. And so we're the same difference between giving up and surrender, where surrendering the illusion of control, man's greatest flaw, still carries hope and trust and faith in the bigger picture, whereas giving up lacks care, it lacks love, and it lacks belief. So acceptance here and surrender to the emotion of sadness, and it's in service of healing something from the past. It gives life depth and meaning in a full spectrum of contrasting experiences that characterize and give meaning and texture to life itself. It is part of the human experience, and so it is not a negative emotion. It serves a purpose and it communicates something to you. This is going to sound so totally weird, but I just saw a commercial this morning for some acetaminophen pain medication, and they were showing this little graphic where it blocks pain signals. And I'm going, yeah, obviously, if it's not that big of a deal, you want to do that so you can, go on. But it struck me at the moment a little bit like when your check engine light goes on and do you go to the place and have them just turn the light off, or do you have them find out why it went on? Those signals are communicating something to you. And so that it serves a purpose. And so being as this is a career and job reading, here's what I'm feeling like is the crux of it. It's asking, are you using work or money or success or the pursuit of these professional goals in order to not feel something that you need to take time out in order to process and to heal? If you need to see yourself, if this is part of your identity as disciplined or tenacious or someone who doesn't let their emotions get the better of them and who, mushes on in spite of, being that disciplined person and being that tenacious and being that strong, being someone that shows up is going to look like facing your past, being strong enough and tenacious enough to take that time out and say, I have to put a boundary around this, and this is what I have to deal with right now so that I can move forward. Not working yourself to death in the face of it or in spite of it or to bypass it. All right, go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3, or more than one if you like. We'll have a message for you. And let me tune in. All right, card 1. Guidance. Find safety in your beacon's light. Safety in your beacon's light, in a card that's about being out to sea. That does feel, it's really reminding me of this right here. And look at that kind of, I don't know if the camera's going to catch this, but you see that kind of circular way that light is being caught around those children? It reminds me of that, that lens that is on the lighthouse light that makes it go so far or whatever. That kind of the way the glass is created in that circular way. Card 2, turbulence. The mind is murky in rough waters. Yeah, so that definitely talks about distraction and talking about focusing, being very distracted by work. And also the degree to where having this thing unprocessed in the back, on the back burner, in, behind the scenes, can create not being exactly as sharp as you could be on the job either. And so it serves each other. Card 3, flow. Let your worries drift away. Yeah. So you do have to address them, hold space for them, take care of yourself around them so that they can go. They're going to cling to you and stick to you like birds until you do, okay? Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you. Okay, if you chose stack 3 or chose the fox, your mirror card this week is anger. All right, you have the moon in reverse, the Queen of Cups, and the Tower. Interesting. Exciting, actually. Okay, so I'm not getting that there is going to be something that happens at work that pisses you off. This isn't something that's happening at work. This anger, whatever it is that makes you angry, it's not going to be triggered at work, or it's not going to be... I'm saying that because of this reverse moon. This is something that's unprocessed in you, something personal and something internal that's going to pop up where it isn't appropriate, like on the job, potentially. This does feel a little bit like there's a connection here to the last reading, to stack 2, about not taking care of your shit and having that affect you in other areas of your life. But with the moon in reverse and anger, there is something undealt with, some kind of issue of your own that might be erupting or might be triggering or might come out at a time or place where you don't want it to or don't expect it to. Now, you do have the Queen of Cups here, so definitely the message is not about suppression or compartmentalization in order to prevent some kind of eruption. It's going to be to use it. Anger isn't something to be avoided or suppressed or banished or labeled as negative and therefore not valid or not acceptable or not useful. It is actually a powerful tool for change. And this is probably something I've said already, and I will say it again. If you can learn to constructively use it as a tool for change, and with the Tower, I'm feeling that even more strongly, that this is a tool like a wrecking ball to a belief system. I feel like you're going to potentially be discovering something false or a way you've been misled in the construction of a worldview. The Tower is a construct. An aspect of self-image. Maybe that something is a philosophy that you were fed that has taken something from you and you're pissed. Kind of like the way I feel about what diet culture has stolen from me and from my life. Feel it with this Queen of Cups. Do feel it and embrace it. When the moon is here, I would be remiss to have a moon show up in a reading and not talk about shadow work, which is going to be going into that dark cave of banished monsters and finding only tired, huddled, scared, abandoned children. And instead of going in there with your sword ready to defeat them, but your arms open for them to run into them and to be embraced, finally. So this Queen of Cups is that energy that you take with you into the shadow. And anyway, feel it, embrace it, and wield it in order to free yourself and others. If you don't harness it, if you don't take control of it and face that it exists and that you're feeling it and put it in service, put it into use, you will A, build up resentment, and B, that resentment will find ways to discharge itself in ways that could affect you professionally. You could go off on the wrong person at the wrong time. You could destroy property in a rage. I mean, when I was younger, broken things. I put a hole in the wrong wall, I just feel like there's a potential for an eruption if you don't admit and face that you're feeling this and channel it to change and to free and to break this down. So this is a pain that will serve you. It is a tool, and it is a powerful tool if you feel it and direct it and channel it. And for the record, I feel the need to say this. This is going to be things like, just for instances like diet culture, stereotypical gender roles, white supremacy, all those kinds of things. Not insurrectionist bullshit. Just in case anyone... This isn't a political channel, but I'm not gonna pretend to... I'm not gonna hide how I feel either. Alright. Go ahead and set your intentions for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3 will have a message for you, and let me tune in. Okay, card 1. Self-care. Drowning doesn't always require water. That already came up today, I'm pretty sure. That feels like when we're talking about this fire in this tower, drowning in anger, drowning in the emotions that come from not... It feels more like letting it overpower you. So drowning being where you take on and you inhale water and then you go down. So it's going to be, I feel, where I'm feeling so much fire from this. So it's like this inundation. Card 2, change. Know when to move to a new shell, especially if yours no longer fits. This one came up too, I swear. And that is very much this tower. That is a shell that no longer fits. Card 3, safety. Don't be too proud to go back to shore. All right, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you.